Hi there. So this is the video I wished had been around when I went to have surgery on my eyes to have a lens replacement. So the upshot is still glad I had it, although there are some downsides, and maybe you want to know some of the downsides because it does all seem upside when you start on this whole journey. So the upside is if you were like me, where you were forever wearing glasses, and I used to wear reading glasses and I used to wear driving glasses, and I'd find myself taking the wrong glasses. I was having to swap them over. And of course, when you're driving and you're trying to look at a sat nav at the same time, then unless you're wearing lenses which do both, varifocal lenses, which I just find a bit annoying because you're having to look in all sorts of strange ways. I never really got the hang of that. The only option is either going contact lenses, which I tried, but I'm just a bit too old for that. And I just couldn't get them in, and then I couldn't get them out again. And this one time I left them in too long and my eyes dried out and my eyes were just sore for a week afterwards. So that's why I looked at the more expensive option, which is to whip out those lenses that you've already got in there and put in artificial lenses. It's a thing, and it's quite painless. I mean, a lot of people balk at the thought that someone is going to be there taking out a bit of your body and replacing it with something which is entirely artificial. But it's quite a painless procedure. It's very quick. I did it through Vision Express. They did it in one day. Not the day. You don't just show up and they do it there and then. It's all pre-planned, but they do your right eye, then the left eye, or whichever way around. But they do them both in one day. Interesting, they have a complete change of staff. Have the left eye team and the right eye team, whether they're trained that way. No, apparently it's something to do with, making sure that they can pinpoint if anything's gone wrong. But anyway, all of that was good and that was fine. And the next morning, it was fantastic. I got up the next morning. I was reading the paper at 6 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning after the surgery. And the surgery was sort of like, early evening, 7 o'clock in the evening. So all of that went quite well. And for a few months, it was fantastic. I was thinking, yes, no glasses for me ever again. This is my whole new life for the rest of my life, however many years that's going to be. But the downside was, I'd say probably about 5 months in, I was doing some gardening unusually, and I was leaning over and I started to get some floaters. I saw some black dots in my eyes, and they didn't go away. Well, they sort of went away, but then they turned into more permanent floaters, which were like little curly bits, as though they were hair caught in my eye. And here I am. I'm now about 15 or 16 months after the first operation, and I still have them. So I don't have perfect vision. And Vision Express have had a look, and they've said that there's nothing attached to actually the lens that they've put in. But what can happen is there's like a bag of liquid which goes behind your lens. I'm trying to think what the official term for it is. I don't know, but anyway, and that's what you see through. Basically, it's what the light is diffracted through, and that's contained within a little. I think it's called is it your aqueous humor? Excuse me if I get all this wrong. But that's contained in a bag, and if the bag gets perforated in any way, then all the little bits of the bag are floating around in that humor, in that substance, and so you see it permanently. Now, apparently, your brain will get used to it and it will go away, but that's not happened for me. So I am seeing this almost all the time. Actually, a lot of the time it doesn't really matter. I'll be watching the TV, I don't think about it. I go for a walk sometimes, looking at a view, and I see little curly bits, and it can be frustrating, but it's workable. What I noticed is, because you might have guessed, I talk for a living and do a lot of video stuff. And when I'm reading stuff off a screen, sometimes just one word will be obscured by the curly stuff. So I have to, sort of scratch my eyes to try and see the word. So that is frustrating. Apparently it goes away after a while, but I don't think so in my case, because I've been waiting for a long time. Now, there is another operation you can do, which is not done by the people who replace your lenses. Maybe it is in some cases, but certainly not with Vision Express, where they replace all of that liquid. And they basically put a whole node of new liquid. So you've got, in effect, a completely new eye, almost. Well, new lens and this new liquid that sits behind it. And that gets rid of the issue about the floaters. The only way you can get rid of the floaters, basically, you can't filter them out. You just have to take all the liquid out and stick a whole new liquid in. And that will get over the problem, apparently. And then maybe, then I'll have perfect sight. But it's another, I don't know, 3, 5, 7 grand to get that done. I don't know. I know it's about the same amount as getting the eye surgery done in the first place. And then there are complications with that. Not really quite sure what they are. One of them, I think, is that it can affect your lens if you have if you've got an original lens, but it shouldn't be the case if you've got an artificial lens. So I just thought you should be aware of that. So it's not, when you're weighing it up. So would I have it done now, looking back, and just remembering how it was, changing my glasses all over the place? It was annoying. So I probably would have it done. It's just a little bit annoying that it's not as perfect as I originally hoped it would be. So just go into it with your eyes open, funnily enough. There, I hope that's useful to you.